What was one of the most mysterious posts found on Reddit? There was a /r/legaladvis post where a guy's 3-year-old was subpoenaed to testify in a case, and even after calling the DA's office, they refused to rescind it and demanded he came in to testify. It was obviously a legal error, and we were all hoping for the judge to rip the DA a new one when this little kid showed up. We never got an update to that. The person who won a 100 mil plus jackpot was trying to escape family and friends who were after his money. Where are you now, friend? There was a guy on r/legaladvis who claimed that every time he stepped outside, whether the front or back door, his neighbor would honk their horn. He said it would happen every single time without fail, but not when anyone else in his household went out. He also said it was happening for several years. Everyone was suggesting he had a mental illness, which was a likely explanation, but I wish we got an update from that guy. You have reached a checkpoint. r/I bleach. r/AWW. Not mysterious. Just want to help out. Some dude posted a confession bear about either directly killing his sister's abusive junkie boyfriend and making it look like it was an overdose. I think people called bullcrap until somebody actually looked into it, inadvertently exposing the guy through a newspaper article, and I don't know what happened next. There was a guy who posted on r/whatisthis thing or something like that. He posted a picture of a piece of metal with dirt and age all over it. A few hours into the thread, where op was active and replying, he stopped replying. Eventually someone who actually knew something stated that the strange object was an undetonated landmine. Op never returned to use his account. If someone has the link to the thread, that would be amazing. Guy who found a camera roll inside a condom hidden inside a pubic toilet. /r/solving A858/. The actual subreddit with the code is now private, but it was a subreddit on which for years, cryptic encoded messages would appear on a regular basis. The above community was dedicated to solving it. Eventually the code subreddit did an AMA, in which the answers were also encoded a bit more simply. Took a few hours for editors to crack the AMA answer code. I don't know whether the ultimate code itself was ever cracked, but I do know it ended. There was one about a guy who went with his girlfriend to visit her parents, and in the middle of the night she got up, and he thought he heard sex noises coming from the next room, leading him to believe his girlfriend has a sexual relationship with her father. But he never posted an update after he said he was going to confront her about it. Wasn't there one about a creepy hotel with secret doors in Louisiana that lead to secret rooms? That was supposedly linked to politicans or something, but no one could find the real story. Why can't we do this thread at 8 AM on a Saturday? I had blissfully forgotten half of these. There was a guy who showed up in AskReddit asking how his newborn could have absolutely none of his trace in blood. A whole list of things were proposed, including that his wife was a chimera, not the mythological beast. Of course. Eventually, someone started the obvious: the kid wasn't his. He said it was impossible, and after a few hours said he was going to get a paternity test done just to show us. The next day he posted that it was done, and when he had the results in a few days he would post a picture to prove us wrong. 2 days later, the post and account were deleted. If true, guessing the test went badly. The guy who is posting all over Reddit that he spread some chemical in Russia that's going to make a ton of people sick in 2 weeks or so. Can't find the link to the posts. I can't remember all of the details, but sometime in the last year there was that kid, 17, 18 I think, on the front page with the abusive father. The kid found the dad's sex toys and broke the lock on the drawer they were in or something. He was trying to get advice on how to fix lock or open it up before his dad got home. Last I remember the kid said he gave up and was packing his bags before the dad got home and kicked him out. There was a teenage girl who posted in /r/relationships a long time ago for help dealing with her mom. The girl was extremely sick and the mom was crazy and thought that the cure for every disease was just eating more vegetables and didn't believe in doctors. Everyone was telling this poor girl to go to the emergency room as soon as possible because of the symptoms she listed. I hope she's okay. It's by far not the most mysterious on Reddit, but certainly in our little community over /r/Argentina. Basically /u/Lamentator made a post stating he wanted to visit Villa 31, an infamous slum over here, talk with the people living there, walk around, etc. Everyone either advised against it, told him to find an insider as a guide, or joked about his death. That was his last post 3 years ago, never to be heard from again. We are pretty sure he's dead, but no one knows anything for sure. I remember this one post on r/relationships in which a woman seemingly caught her nephew hiding some recording device at the bathroom she and her daughter used. The nephew was 18-year, and she had a young daughter, around 10-year. I remember she did one update where she talked to her husband and he wanted to involve the police, and she said she would probably do that, and would later update. It's been maybe a year now, but couldn't find an update. A couple years ago there was a girl on /r/Ray said narcissists whose parents were part of a deeply Christian faith, and had arranged for her to marry a guy her age. She couldn't go to school, she couldn't have a job, her parents would lock her out of the house, and she was basically forced to live in a small backyard cabin with her soon-to-be husband. She had to hide the fact that she was posting, because if her future husband found out her parents would become violent. She was scared they would kill her. The parents gave the underage guy alcohol, and he would sexually assault the poster. But she couldn't do anything about it, because the state she lived in would return runaways. And CPS had been around but never did anything. One day she made a post that her husband saw her post. She was scared he would ask questions. Never posted again after that. I just want her to know that, if she's still out there, we are still counting down to her 18th birthday. I hope you get free from those people. I think it was from /relationships. Woman who thought she was being gaslighted by her boyfriend. She described smelling cooked fish, but he would serve chicken for dinner. Eventually commenters convinced her to go to the hospital. She updated with "It's a brain tumor, I have surgery tomorrow." I still think about that post and I never found out if things worked out for her. So before I got sober 2 years ago I asked to be on a subreddit called r/Resources. It was a sub for buying research chemicals, basically analogs of drugs including spice bath salts, opioids, benzodiazepine, etc. Well, one guy won a giveaway for 10 grams of itizolum powder. This is an analog of Xanax, and he posted saying what he was given was fake, and he was just dipping his finger into the baggie and licking unknown amounts. He made multiple posts with each one being more and more incoherent until eventually he stopped replying and never made any more posts. All of us were pretty sure he overdosed as he was pretty active on the sub at the time. Edit for clarity: a standard dose of Xanax is a 2 mg pill known as a bar. 500 bars would equal 1 gram. Guy was just eating roughly 98% pure chemical in unknown quantities. There once was a guy on here that had a wonderful bestie, and they would cuddle occasionally. The guy realized he had feelings for his friend that were not platonic. He was gonna tell the guy. I was wondering how that turned out. There was a guy who wanted to try heroin. He was convinced he could give it up on demand. Everyone else was telling him not to, and he did it anyway. The next 3 years of his posts, you see his descent into addiction and cries for help to get out. I can't remember the username, but it was sad to see. This isn't so much mysterious as mysterious and sad. On r/Hifapeds, there was a mod with regular drug habits. He was a really great commenter and had more knowledge on 90s mid-2000s New York hip hop than anybody. About 5 months back he disappeared, and eventually, people noticed and started asking. Eventually, we found out he died of a fentanyl odd. Crap sucked. We miss you/Archibone. A couple posts I wonder about. One with a guy whose wife was pregnant, but he got fixed many years ago, and another one with a kid who found a spy camera in his foster parents' bathroom. There was a post in /r/relationships maybe a year ago from a woman who had found some disturbing content on her boyfriend's computer. He had gone out of town, and she was looking through his laptop and found out about his extreme BDSM and torture fetish. She was an Asian woman and his fantasies about torture apparently focused on Asian women. She said some other stuff, like about how he would go out of town on hunting trips with old buddies for days at a time, but she had never met any of these friends. There was some other circumstantial potentially disturbing stuff. She deleted the post soon after, and I never saw anything about it. But a lot of people were telling her to get out of the house before he got back. A couple of months ago there was a post from a Russian lady who was sharing text messages she received from a guy while she was in a movie. He got really angry that she didn't reply, not knowing she was in a movie. The guy worked for the company she worked for and had been hoping to ask her out. I wasn't a member of Reddit then, but I downloaded the app after my friend, who is on Reddit, showed me the post claiming the guy might be my boyfriend. He was. The Russian lady's post made the front page and she replied hundreds of times to people. She gave out enough information that I could see it was my boyfriend who contacted her. I confronted him and he confessed. We broke up shortly thereafter. The Russian lady's account doesn't seem to be active anymore. I don't wanna mention her name for her privacy. I don't blame her, because she didn't do anything. On the plus side, the entire event brought me to Reddit, and I've enjoyed my experience here. Edit. By in a movie I meant she said she was in a movie theater watching a movie. She wasn't an actress. When a Redditor found a guy's journal which included schizophrenic drawings about how the pier in my hometown was a spaceship with pumas on it. r/alien puma spacetrain. u/Isferalififta lime. I discovered the account about a year ago and was fascinated reading the past comments and posts. It appears to belong to a woman with a degenerative brain disease whose husband left her for another woman and eventually gained custody of their child. The comments eventually turned into her begging for Lassie to give her daughter back. Turns out she's posting again, so I guess she did her time in jail or whatever happened. There was a post a few years ago about a guy who had served in the military, had PTSD, and his wife/partner would jump out and scare him despite him making it known he did not like it. One day he was in the bathroom and she burst in surprising him, and he turned around and punched her fair in the face. He was scared and didn't know what to do, whether he'd be charged, etc., and never posted any follow-ups. Still wondering what happened to that one. I don't remember when I saw this thread, but it was a detailed post someone made about how, in summary, they had an incredibly abusive father, went to the library to research how to kill him and make it look like an accident, then poisoned his father using resin. Even if fake, was still a good read. Man, reading these before sleep was not a great decision on my part. There was a r/relationship post about a woman believing her husband was spying on her when he would be off on work trips. Camera/woofy stuff. I read it the day it was posted, and that was over a year ago, and I still think about it and hope she is okay. I don't believe she ever updated. There was a post on WTF about 5 years ago where someone killed some girl and took pics of her decapitated head with sunglasses. Mods took it down because apparently reverse image search showed nothing. It was thought you'd killed some girl. Edit. I'm sorry. Also image in glasses. Came here to add /u/Coyote Laughter, who created a great series of sci-fi books here on Reddit called Crowtone Earth. Here is his sub, r/Coyote Laughter / Dude is a great writer and got most of the way through his 4th book in the series, then just disappeared. Said that he was having some personal issues. A brother had passed away and he was facing homelessness. Haven't heard a peep from him in a couple of months. BTW, if you like science fiction, you definitely want to read through the first 3 books of the series. This guy has talent, and I hope that he's doing okay. It was an AskReddit thread on what is the weirdest thing that has ever happened to you, and someone replied how their phone just suddenly started making noises and a robotic woman's voice read off numbers, weird music, and random names. Someone replied, saying that that was a number station that somehow accidentally got broadcasted to his phone, and it was possibly dangerous for him to continue to have that phone on him. The Redditor recommended he disassemble the phone, chuck the parts in several different locations, then leave town for a few days because he could possibly be assassinated. I don't know how legit that post was, but it sure creeped me out. Everything posted by u/9 mother 9 horse 9 eyes 9. I lost the screenshot, but it was in r/relationships. It was a self-described dwarf who said his tall girlfriend was abusing him. He needed advice on how to / if he should leave. The next day the post was gone. I haven't found a follow-up, and I'm really concerned for him. Don't post any remotely personal crap online. That guy who kept posting updates about creepy and homicidal things that kept happening to him. Eventually, the posts stopped, and Reddit never knew the mystery. The guys that found a child 30 digital upload/seed setup inside a shipping container on their property in the middle of nowhere, Australia, if I remember right. It had cameras and crap watching them. They bailed, drove off, called the cops, and came back to the whole thing being literally on fire. I'm surprised no one has brought up the guy who was in an accident and lived a whole life with a wife and child while he was unconscious for a few minutes post-accident. People posting con on r/dankmems today. Secret hotel room in the Hotel Zaza in Houston. A wife on r/confession told about how her husband in the middle of the night would smell their son's nappies, diaper. Last update was they're getting divorced. Creeped me out too much. Never found out why he did it. Reading this at 1 AM is probably gonna scare me for life, tbh, cause it for sure is scaring me rn. Does anyone remember the guy who followed the man who asked him to come to a ransom location on Google Maps? He went in, took photos and sent them into the comment thread, heard someone behind him, and that was it? Probably not real, but spooked me back in the day. Curious to know if anyone followed up. Dead animals or something. His name was Alex, I think. Someone once posted that Tommy Wiseau is 2400 years old, and he and Tommy were born in the same village in Eastern Europe. Not mysterious per se, but the situation was extremely mysterious. Over at r/let's not meet, some user posted a story of a dude he came across while walking at night. The particular thing about this dude is that he was erratically dancing, and at some point he started sprinting towards the Opus in the middle of the night with a big freaking smile from ear to ear. I haven't looked too hard, but I know there was a YouTube channel that would just upload strange videos with different noises and electronic type images, like pixels and stuff. I forget the name of the channel, so if anybody knows the name, or if there are any explanations to it, I would appreciate it. Currently on hour of 3 reading this post. Wonderful stories. Thank you so much to Op for posting this question. I've had to dig myself out to eat, drink, and I think I said goodbye to hubby when he left for work, maybe? Great stuff. Reddit. There was this kid that was writing on Reddit. His parents installed a keylogger so they would see anything he posts. Some smart Redditors had their guard up and realized what was going on. Redditors commented in such a way that the kid could communicate without suspicion. I can't find the thread. Maybe someone else has the link. Not me, because it's dark outside and now. r/LCQP early days of Reddit, the Lake City Quiet Pill subreddit. IDK, it's weird, and I'm ignorant, and don't know how to link directly. Worth looking into though. Ubisoft go bye bye. Always on DRM. U/Yay video games. It wasn't even its own post, but a comment to another post. The comment was about how there's some mysterious crap going down in Americas and the Philippines national parks and forests, state parks, and campgrounds, Yosemite, Grand Canyon, etc. It was about how people have been going missing without a trace for many years. Apparently, there's hardly any information about the disappearances available, except what the families say, and officials basically sweep them under the rug. There was a guy who remarked about being in a car accident and everyone seemed to be ignoring him. Someone surmised he was dead. A ghost. He never posted after that. /r/physician. A sub by a madman who thinks he is the next Elon Musk. More information at /r/human fan club. Hold it right there. r/aww. r/ibleach. If you made it this far into the thread, you'll need it. Trust me. Have a nice day. There was a thread talking about UFOs and the strangest stories people have heard. This one seemed straight out of the Twilight Zone, and I don't know if it's real or not, but the guy who was conveying the story seemed to know a lot particular things that were not, let's say, common knowledge. Basically the SS, Secret Service, goes early to cities and lays the groundwork for president/vice president visits. When Obama was in office, He was supposedly flying to X destination. I can't remember where, but the author described certain things. Multiple radar signatures were detected. The Secret Service was in the operations room and they were concerned. These anomalies were detected for a prolonged period of time, able to follow speed and direction. And they had visual confirmation as well. The kid's father was part of the team, but not Secret Service. Anything concerning the security of the president is taken very seriously. It's catalogued, tagged and bagged in a DB. I thought it was a unique post and informative. It got deleted and disappeared into the ether. I tried searching for it and could never find it again. There are no public accounts of supposed incident. The Chicago O'Hare famous UFO in airport airspace was also concerning, but the radar tapes were confiscated. There exists no videos/photos that I could find, and voice communications were also conveniently missing. Strange indeed. And the recent net UAP video was interesting, but there were key elements missing from the official press release. Interesting time to be alive. That jumper cable dude, what happened to him? Does anyone remember the story where a kid bet his mate all his summer savings that he wouldn't spend a night in the woods high on acid? Kid ended up going crazy and stabbing his eyes out. I can't press any of these links. Too scary lol. A few years ago a guy made a post about how he was going to sell his things, empty his savings, and maximum out his credit cards, and put it all in Bitcoin. I think he said he had a wife and kids. Everyone commenting was telling him not to do it. He said he would report back eventually, but I never saw it if he did. I've always been curious about that one. A year ago, perhaps more, there was a guy with a username comprised of random symbols who would just type garbled nonsense in the comments of AskReddit posts. Obviously they were codes, probably to some kind of ARG. You'd see this guy everywhere. It was hard to miss him. The difference was that, unlike users like A858, he didn't catch on at all. He'd reply to high-ranking posts. They were hard to miss, but they weren't doing well. Downvotes galore. Posts pushed to the bottom as a result, and eventually we just stopped seeing them. I know it's probably nothing important, but I'm curious what would have come out of it had it been solved. There was a post about a guy who sold his house and secretly lived at the bottom of the garden afterwards, but I can't find it anymore. Probably the cicada recruitment plan. The creepiest post I've seen was about a guy who was reading comments about mysterious Reddit posts when he disappeared mid. This is a classic. Cicada 3301 was the most complex and mysterious puzzle which had no answer. That one thread about the search and rescue guy and all his stories, especially the ones about the stairs in the middle of nowhere. Read that crap on the train at 5 AM. Never again. I remember a story where a guy was driving somewhere. On the way, he was robbed by a thief. The thief stole his car and wallet. The guy somehow managed to reach home after a couple of days and realized his family was having his funeral. Everyone was shocked to see him as they thought the dead body lying there was him. Turns out, the thief who stole his car and wallet had an accident and crashed with an oil tanker and died in the blast. His body was fully burned and was unidentifiable. The family recognized the body by checking the identity in the wallet. Anyone remember Cicada? Or just me? I didn't have an account yet but followed that crap closely. It was crazy for those couple years. Enter thread at 2 AM. Has not left thread at 4 AM. Whereabouts of sanity unknown. The /r/watersfus thing post about the unidentifiable silly band's shape. Basically Area 51 level mystery. The real mystery is why you didn't tag this as serious. The safe. Is that damn thing open yet? Unsure if I learned about it on Reddit or another website. Anyone remember that small town hotel a guy bought back in like the 70s or 80s and made crawl spaces in the attic to spy on his guests and kept a journal of their sexual activities? I remember reading a really long time or Rolling Stone article about it a few years ago. Make sure to like and subscribe so we can watch together.